Hi guys, it's Emily from Bluebell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my April TBR. Now, March's books went so well and today I'm filming on a sunny day. You may start getting videos being filmed outside now if the spring really is here. But March's books were amazing, so I'm kind of scared because January was amazing, April was pants. No, January was amazing, February was pants, March was amazing. Is April going to be pants? I hope not. So I will be participating in the and there's a readathon coming up that Jack from Spread Book Joy is doing, but that's a little readathon and I made you a separate TBR for that, so don't include that. But other than that, I'm not really doing any readathons this month. I've got my 2 read-alongs and sneaky peek, there may be another one coming up in May. So I'm trying to take it easier in April, so I can, even though I think I've got 15 books, I'm allowing myself slightly less because I'm going to be mood reading a lot in April. April is number 1, it's Easter. No, actually that should be number 2. Number 1 is on the 7th of April, it's Thomas's birthday. About half of April is going to be the kids' Easter holidays. So I don't know how my reading is going to be going because I'll probably have to read less because if they're off. And I don't know whether that means I'll read less, read more, depending on what the weather's like. If the weather's nice, I'll be kicking them outside. If the weather's not, who knows. So yeah, I'm not putting pressure on myself because April is Thomas's birthday, which means at least one of those days I'll be reading. I have got some holiday off work, which is going to be good, so I can focus on the kids. But that's it. I want to focus at least the first half with my children and making sure my books give me sanity and help me rather than stress me out. So I'm not putting pressure on myself. So enough rambling. As always, I ramble. And let me tell you about my books. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buddy reads, which isn't too many. I'm perfectly happy with that. My 2 read-alongs, TBR jar. Is it going to be nice to me this month? And then other books. So here we go. So the first buddy read is Orley Farm by Anthony Trollope. It is mahoosive. It is, actually I say it's mahoosive, but no it is because it's 2 books in one I think. It's 400 pages there and then 400 pages again. So I think it's about 800 pages. So that is going to be mahoosive. But it's an Anthony Trollope book and I love Anthony Trollope's writing. So don't know too much about it. Right, so this is a successful combination apparently of realistic and sensational events which he felt to be the highest of achievement of a novelist. This novel centres on a case of forgery and anguish and guilt and the pathos of the central character, Lady Mason. Youthful marriage choices, middle-aged marital crisis, and moving love and the loss of an elderly man revolve around the legal action and the complex portrayal of Lady Mason, who is both sympathetic and wily. This does look good. I'm hoping we'll read it slowly over the month because I think this is one that I'm going to really need to... Yes, that fits 400 pages. I need to have a look. And so that is 400. And then it seems to go to a part. Aha! There we go. And then it goes to chapter 11, which is like 410 again. So it's 800 pages. This is going to be fun. But let's give it a go. Then the next buddy read is my standard buddy read because I always buddy read with Gemma from Read a Book Gem. We've got so many books to buddy read. And this one we bought at a charity shop. And this is How Much Are These Hills of Gold? This is longlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2020. I don't know too much about it. I know it's historical fiction. The boldest debut of the year, refreshing discovery of a new author of grand scale. It's set in the American West during the gold rush. Lucy and Sam leave town with a gun in their hands and the body of their father on their backs. The siblings set out a new way to live. Will their secrets bring them together or break them apart? I do like the fact that this is quite a short book, so I think I'm going to ask Gemma if we can start the month with this, but again, it's down to her. But this does look really good, and look how beautiful it is. It's stunning. I want to keep this. I want to like this so I can actually keep it because it's such a stunningly gorgeous book. Then I'm going to be reading my buddy read book with my sister Charlie. This is Hish Pish because my mum is not very well at the moment, and if we end up needing her, we may end up having to stop this, but I don't know. But the plan is to read this, and this is Never Greener by Ruth Jones. Now, Gemma from Read a Book Gem loved it, and I really want to. It does tackle, apparently, cheating and things like that. So that's going to be hard hitting, but apparently it doesn't glamorise it, so that's something that I like. I loved Us Three by Ruth Jones, so I'm really hoping I love this too. When Katie was 22, she had an intense and passionate affair with a married man, Callum, which ended in heartbreak. Kate thought she'd never get over it. 17 years later, life has moved on. Kate now is a successful actress living in London, married to Matt and mother to little Tallulah. Meanwhile, Callum and his wife Belinda are happy together, living in Edinburgh, watching their children grow up. The past, as it would seem, is well and truly behind them. But then Kate meets Callum again, and they are faced with the choice to walk away from each other or risk finding out what may have been. Really nervous, but really excited. It is probably my second biggest buddy read. So I've got 2 massive buddy reads this month. I mean, I do like the sound of that. The next one is going to be my fun one. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. And this is Percy Jackson and the Sea Monsters. And I loved the first Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief. This is a stunning edition. I love it. It's got coloured edges. You can't tell by looking at me that my dad is Poseidon, the god of the sea. It's not easy being a half-blood these days. Even a simple game of dodgeball can turn into a giant death match against an ugly gang of cannibal giants. And that is just the beginning. Now Camp Half-Blood is under attack, and unless I can get my hands on the Golden Fleece, this whole camp will be invaded by monsters. Big ones. Really can't wait to this. I'm reading this with Gaia. It's a short book. I know it's short, which is what I love about it. And I can't see how many pages it is. Here we go. This is less than 300 pages, so this is going to be one that's going to be blown through. So I cannot wait for that. Then it's my 2 read-along books. So the first read-along book is Anne of Windy Willows. It's also called Anne of Windy Poplars, for those of you that know. This is, I think, the 4th. It's the 4th, actually. What am I questioning? It's the 4th month for the 4th blended book. And this is, I can't tell you spoilers, but it's now a young woman and her romance with Gilbert Blythe. Ooh. Begins to flourish. Anne Shirley becomes principal of Summerside High School, but Summerside is virtually ruled by the Pringle family, who don't want Anne at school. It takes all Anne's courage and tact and the comfort she drew from an eccentric household at Windy Willows to overcome the local prejudice and outface the dreaded Pringles. This is, I think, one of the hard-hitting books of Anne of Green Gables, so it's actually not as happy and joyous as the other ones, but it is one that's good. Can't wait to read it. I love Anne along. And I don't know whether to start off reading it, and like in January and February, I think I read it quite early on, and in March I left it later, and everyone's leaving the books later and later because they know Anne of Green Gables is what we need, so that is really good. Then some people are starting this. We were supposed to start this in May, and we didn't read it May, June and July, but I've already, by the time this video goes live, I should be either finished or finishing Bring Up the Body. So I thought I would start this early and read this over 3 months. Because we were going to read it over 2 months. We were going to read it over May and June, and I wanted to read it over 3. And I just I can't tell you too much about it, but because obviously it's the 3rd in the series, but everyone knows this is another flicking chunker. This will not be read in April. This will be read April, May and June. I'm going to try and read it chapter by chapter because it's 871 books. The chapters are so blooming long, so I will probably not even get a chapter per time. I don't know how I'm going to read it. I normally like to read like a chapter per week and go at it that way. I think that's going to be my goal, is to probably try and read a chapter per week and see how I go on that. So I'm going to add it up. But this is the 3rd. I've been told mixed things. Like, a lot of people have said that this book is the chunkiest and the slowest pace. So I'm going to see how I read it. I don't know how I'm going to read it, but I'm looking forward to it. Now onto the books. Now, actually, I'm going to do the TBR jar. I can't wait any longer. Should we do the TBR jar? Should we see what the TBR jar does before I show you my other books? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I'm scared. I'm closing my eyes. I'm literally scared. Oh, there's one that's fallen out, so I'll go with that one. God, please be nice. Please be nice. Yeah, this is going to be a funny one. It's not a small one. It's The Mister by E.L. James. It's probably one of my biggest ones on here. So E.L. James wrote, obviously, 50 Shades. This is 519 pages, I think. Yeah, 519 pages, 521 pages. It's the author of 50 Shades of Grey. It's set in London 2019. Life hasn't been easy for Maxim Trevelyan. With his good looks and aristocratic connections and money, he's never had to work, and he's rarely slept alone. But all that changes when tragedy strikes and Maxim inherits his family's noble title. wealth and estate. All the responsibility that entails. It's a role that he's not prepared for and one that he struggles to face. But his biggest challenge is to fight the desire for an unexpected and enigmatic young woman who's recently arrived in England, owning little more than a dangerous and troublesome past. Oh my goodness, this is funny. Can't believe it. I've had this on my shelf for a while because I guilty to admit that I did like 50 Shades of Grey. I think I loved it before I got on BookTube and before I understood what good literature was. But hey ho, the TBR jar has chosen it. Let's see how I manage on that. Now for my other books. Actually, I'm not going to say that one straight away. So I chose my series books first. So obviously one of my series books is the Rick World, and I've obviously got the Analog groups. But this is the third book in the Nightingale Nurses series. And this is centred around Helen, Dora and Millie again. So one of the other books wasn't centred around someone else. This is their final year of training for the 3 young nurses. Helen is at a crossroads in her life as she battles with the domineering mother over both her love life and future career. Dora can't stop loving Nick, who's married to her best friend Ruby, but has a dark secret that's potential to destroy Ruby's marriage. And then Millie is anxious about her fiance being sent to Spain to cover the civil war. And things only get worse when he encounters a fortune teller who gives him a sinister warning. Eek! Love this series. I'm aware this is hard hitting, so I'm hoping I'm going to like it. On the other side of all these hard hitting books is a really good fun one, and that is the Little Beach Street Bakery. I have now got some good old contemporaries to lighten things up for me. And this is obviously set in the Little Beach Street Bakery. This is probably one of my first Jenny Colgan books. It's officially my reread, but it's not going to affect my numbers because it's a reread. But this is my first time I've read it off my shelf, if that makes any sense, because I originally read it from the library. And there is a great puffin in here, who I love. The puffin character is one that I love. And Polly is opening a bakery, and it's about food, and it's about love, and it's a great series. And apparently the newest book in the series has just been released in paperback. So once I finish reading this series, once I finish reading all my copies of it, I'm going to be, I'm going to be buying it. Sod it. This isn't a short book, but it's a good, cosy romance, and it's about food, so I love it. Then I've got my Page Toon book. I love Page Toon. It's her, obviously I'm doing the Page Toon buddy read. And this is a book for this month, and this is The Longest Holiday. And this is about Laura, who actually appears, I think, in the second book, and Chasing Daisy, and she has been married to the man of her dreams for 7 months, but a week before their wedding, Matthew made a terrible mistake. Escaping the humiliation that is now her marriage, Laura is whisked off to Florida Key West by her best friend Marty. A carefree holiday full of cocktails and fun is what the doctor ordered. And then the distraction comes in the form of sexy Cuban Leo. I did love this book when I read it as well, and I thought it was great fun, and I'm so glad to have my own copy of this. I am collecting all of this author's works. I will literally buy anything that Page Toon writes. She is my favourite author of all time. You all know that. This will be just what I need. I'm probably going to save it for when I need it. I probably won't read it straight away because I want to save it for when I really need a light-hearted book. Then my non-fiction book of the month is one I picked up because of my mother. 1 husband, 8 children, 1,000 sheep. Mum's spoken about this, Amanda Owen. It's the Yorkshire Life, a year in the life of the Yorkshire Shepherdess. I love the sound of it. It's non-fiction. It doesn't look too hard-hitting. It's got pictures in it. It's not long. Again, I may well save it for not straight away because it looks too good to be done like that. I don't need to say any more than that. This is basically a year in her life, so it's like a diary style entry. I'm looking forward to that. Then my thriller for the month, Just My Luck by Adele Parks. This is one of her newer books. I found it in the charity shop for £1. I don't think it looks too scary thriller, which is what I like. Be careful what you wish for. It's the stuff of dreams are made of. A lottery win so big that it changes everything. For 15 years, Lexi and Jake have played the same 6 numbers with their friends, the Pearsons and the Heathcotes. What is about books with Heathcotes, Charlie? I love this. I've got to tell him that. Over dinner parties, fish and chip suppers, and summer barbecues, they have discussed the important stuff, kids' marriage, jobs and houses, and they've laughed off their disappointment when they failed to win anything. Then one Saturday night, the unthinkable happens. There's a rift in the group, someone doesn't tell the truth, And soon after, the 6 numbers come up, which will change everything. Does sound really good. Sounds good, but not too scary. It's not too long, so that'll be good. I really don't have a clue what order I'm going to read any of these books in. Then I said in my birthday tag video that I wanted to read this. This is Sarah Waters' first book, Tipping the Velvet. The lovely Gemma from Reader Book Gem gave me this, and it's a gorgeous copy. It's set in Victorian London. It's her first novel, which was published the year I turned 18. Makes me feel old. A saucy, tempestuous, multi-layered historical romance. But Tipping the Velvet follows the glittering career of Nan King, and the Oyster Girl turned musical hall superstar, turned rent boy, turned East End Tom. And it's that lesbian romps and queer and demi mode of the roaring 90s. It looks very good fun. It's another longer book. Why have I got such bloody long books this month? But that does look good. Penultimate book is a book that I'm picking up because of my old man. Now, it is in April. It's also Bluebell Woods time. It's the season that bluebells appear in the woods. My dad is scattered in Bluebell Woods. At the moment, for various reasons, my health is not as good and my mum's health is not as great. So I am struggling and I'm missing my dad at the moment for some reason. And I love Annie McNamara's work, so I decided to pick up Hope and Happiness in Bluebell Woods. I got this a while ago and I've saved it for when the bluebells come out. Something I'm going to be doing a lot of in April when they all pack up and come up is I'll be walking through the woods and seeing the bluebells and thinking of him. So this is everything I wanted. I love Bluebell Woods. He's scattered in Ardingly in Bluebell Woods. And I will go anywhere to see bluebells and think of him and just reconnect, and it just makes me smile. Ava loves city life, but when something happens to make her feel unsafe, she retreats to the calm and quiet of Bluebell Wood. The once high-flying Ava now locks herself into a fairy tale cottage, leaving only to explore the trails of nearby woods or to potter in the garden with her dog Myelin. When Ava starts to feed the wild birds that flock to her bird table, leaving trinkets of appreciation in return, the gifts seem innocent at first, but they have a deeper meaning. I think this sounds like a romance. I love Annie McNamara's work. She has chronic pain. She's an author that actually has chronic pain, and I'll pick up most of her books, to be honest. And this sounds like just one I need, so I'm really happy, really looking forward to that. And then the last book is a classic. I wanted to read another classic. This is off my classics to read in 2022. The Woodlanders by... Again, I picked this up because Woodlanders, Woods, is going to be where I'm going to be visiting this month. I've also been told by Tori from Hufflepuff Discovery that I will like this. This is set the plain Marty South, a young country girl, mature beyond her years, endures her love for Giles Winterbourne in silence. He works for the partnership for George Melbury, the local timber merchant and chief man of business in the area. Giles has deep unspoken feelings for Mr. Melbury's little daughter Grace, who's been away at boarding school, and now returns to Little Hintop, an educated young woman with modern ideas. And Giles belongs to the past she no longer wants to be a part of. This does look really good. It's not too long, it's about 400 pages, but it looks really good, so this is actually a classic I'm really looking forward to. So I'm quite happy with these books this month. I think I've got a real good mix. And I tell you what, let me know, guys, in the comments below, which books do you think I should read first? I will almost, if I have enough comments on one book, I'm not going to do a poll because I've obviously got 15 books to read. Discount the buddy read books and the read-along books. But out of the books that aren't buddy reads or read-alongs, please let me know in the comments which book should I start with. The book that gets the most comments will get read first. Okay? Anyway, let me know what books you're excited about in April. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.